Namaste, Jai Bharat. It's always the case that most people want to believe in God. Of course, people can believe in God. But again, most people want to know what God is. Well, this is difficult. There'll be plenty of confusions when you want to know what God is. There'll be confusions plus confusions plus confusions plus confusions and uncertainties. This is a problem. Why is this problem? Don't you think there is a logical shortcoming with one's understanding of what God is? Once knowing what God is, the question is, are you really capable of knowing God? And to answer this question, that are you really capable of knowing God, you should know what is it to be capable of understanding something like God, where you have to speak what is it to mean what God is. What is the question of God? Of course, let's put it in as simple terms as possible. If there is a God, I'm neither saying yes nor saying no, but it's an open question to you. If there is a God, answer yourselves. Will that be infinite or finite? Repeat the question. Will that God be infinite or finite? Then, for any common man with average understanding of things, will have to answer the question that if there is a God, then the God has to be necessarily infinite, can't be finite. Infinite is that which is no beginning, no middle, and no end. Of course, the concept of God suggests that God is all-pervasive, everlasting, etc., etc., etc. Some people have added it as creation, this thing create. Okay, that's all there. But the question is, if there is a God, God has to be infinite. Now you, man, who's trying to understand God, rather trying to intellectualize God, forget about emotional, trying to understand God intellectually, are you finite or infinite? Answer this question properly. You will have to say that how can I be infinite? Human being, me, is necessarily finite. I appeared at one point in time in this world at some space and will cease to exist at another point in time. So I am necessarily finite. Now the simple logical question is simply this only. A simple logical question is very simple, this only, that you are finite, fine. If there is a God, God is infinite, fine. Ask this question yourselves. How can a finite mind comprehend something that is infinite? The matter gets over there. How can a finite mind comprehend something which is necessarily infinite? How can a necessarily finite mind understand or comprehend or even speak about something which is necessarily infinite? Your problem is solved there, that's it. You don't have the abilities to know God. You can figure out, you can imagine. That's it, that's all. You cannot do anything more than it. So, the only solution for people or anyone is that assume, sometimes believe, go in that, but don't put reason in this task. This goes well beyond reason. So the question has got becomes interesting, at the same time complicated, at the same time impossible. Just imagine that we are not equipped. We don't have the sufficient categories of understanding to comprehend God. Then, of course, Emmanuel Kant he makes these things little more clear. Of course, not in this context. He says that your understanding is through categories of concepts, and he says there are certain things. Of course, he speaks about the world of phenomena, and he says there these things don't operate similarly. Our capacities don't operate in the realm where these things are there. Kant's distinction, not mine. And of course, I question the distinction with a different perspective. But let's for now take it as granted then don't break your head over the concepts of God. You're really being foolish to break head. You can, of course, experience, which is another question, which is another philosophical stream, which has its own distinct logic and distinct operating methods that I'm not going to now. I have no time for that. So, how can how can a finite being speak about something which is necessarily infinite? Ask the question to yourself, and we can meet again. Till then, Namaste, Jai Bharat, Jai Shri Ram.